more about our forecast.
All right.
Right now, your local forecast. Weatherscope.
It's 1:30 on the Saturday morning. I'm Rick Griffin here with Marshall Cease. We appreciate you tuning in. Of course, the top weather story continues to be Hurricane Danny. Yep. And Danny may be starting to make landfall for a second time this morning, and this time it's not in Louisiana. It's right around Mobile Bay, Alabama.
That's what it looks like now. It's only moving at about 3 miles per hour, but it looks like a movement to the north, and looks like some of the eye wall may be approaching Mobile.
We so far this morning have watched winds gust to about 73 miles an hour at Dauphin Island, which is right at the entrance to Mobile Bay. Right now in Mobile, wind gusts of about 35, but it looks like weather will be deteriorating for you in a short time.
Definitely. Let's take a look at the coordinates for Danny currently. This is the 2 o'clock observation, Central Daylight Time, so that puts it, about an hour and a half ago. Danny was centered, its circulation was centered at 30.0 north, 88.0 west, about 35 miles south-southeast of Mobile, winds at 75 miles per hour, again nearly stationary, but it looks like it's trying to inch its way to the north. 987 millibars. There are hurricane warnings that have been posted from Gulfport, Mississippi to Apalachicola, Florida. As you probably know, especially if you live in this area, I'm sure you've been keeping tabs of this. From Gulfport to Apalachicola, storm surges anywhere from 2 to 8 feet. And in Mobile Bay, we're right around that 4-foot level, probably. Here's a satellite picture enhanced for you. Now, see the rotation around our hurricane, pretty tightly wound system, and it's been dropping heavy rain. Pensacola right now is reporting moderate rain. Mobile's getting very heavy rain at this hour. And again, we've had wind gusts around Dauphin Island reported to up to 73 miles per hour, and rain bands extending up into a little further to the north over the panhandle of Florida. Now, some of these spiral bands out in the Gulf of Mexico there are reports that there looks like there might be some rotation in some of these cells that are developing here, some of these thunderstorm cells, and that means that the potential for tornadoes will increase this morning, especially right along the coastal areas of Florida into extreme southern Alabama. So be alert to that today. Definitely a problem. Let's take you now for a look around the country, find out what's going on in some other areas. Remember that little mesoscale or small hurricane, kind of a mini hurricane looking thing over Oklahoma yesterday? Well, that has weakened somewhat, believe it or not, but look what fired overnight. Some more convection, and we have some thunderstorms in Oklahoma, and a flash flood warning has been issued for Noble County. Oklahoma just can't get out from under this thing. Meanwhile, we have more rain up in North and South Dakota this morning, and it's just amazing, having worked yesterday and then worked today, when we put our maps together as to what we're going to show, very little change in the profile of the maps today from yesterday. We still have the situation in Oklahoma, still have rain in the Dakotas. Danny hasn't moved much at all. The only thing that has moved is this front that swept through New York, and out ahead of that frontal zone, we had some incredible damage in the Northeast that included New York City. We had fatalities, up to 50 injuries there's been reports of, scattered throughout Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey from storms last night. The other story today, which was a story yesterday, is the heat. It's going to be oppressively hot in the Central Plains again today. Des Moines has a dew point temperature of 72, and St. Louis, right on the whole Mississippi River, 75-degree dew point. So we definitely have a situation where it's going to be another hot one in the plains. But what a cool down for the Northeast. It's going to be beautiful for your weekend thanks to this front. Once we get the front off the shore, no problem. Behind it, 60 degrees in Rochester this morning. Burlington's at 59 degrees. New York City's at 73, Boston at 70. And to the south, the main event here is Hurricane Danny and where Danny will move. And Danny is moving very slowly. There's nothing to kick Danny quickly anyplace. Danny's spinning right along the coast. Looks like he's headed to the north into Mobile, Alabama, very slowly. Big threat for heavy rain, but you can't discount the winds either. Winds at 75 with gusts to 90 and 95 miles per hour. North of Oklahoma City is Noble County. That's where we've had thunderstorms overnight, and that's where we have the flash flood warning. Atlanta's at 74 degrees. Jacksonville's at 72. 77 degrees in Miami. And in the north, Wisconsin and Illinois, you also got ravaged yesterday with thunderstorms that moved through. And it looks like today a brief respite until this system moves in from the west. Front dropping south of Chicago, ushering in some much cooler air for the Windy City. Now to take a look at the forecast and what's going to happen, here's Rick.
All right, thanks a lot, Marshall. Let's begin with the current map. We see the position of Danny now beginning to make landfall near Mobile Bay, Alabama. We do expect Danny to continue its basically very, very slow north-northeast drift as the Saturday unfolds. You folks in the Florida Panhandle, southern